Ever wonder when you should change your car's oil filter? If you ask a mechanic, you'll probably hear, "It depends." And honestly, they're right. It depends on your car's make and model. It depends on how old your car is. And it depends on how hard you push that gas pedal. But here's the thing. Keeping your oil filter in good shape is a simple way to keep your engine running smoothly. In this video, we'll break it all down, so you'll know exactly when and how to take care of your oil filter. We'll talk about what oil filters actually do. We'll show you how to spot a clogged filter before it causes problems. And we'll explain why replacing it on time is so important. Ready? Let's dive into it. So, what does an oil filter do? An oil filter comes in two main designs. First, we've got the spin-on filter. This one's the classic choice and still the most common in cars today. It's easy to spot, a steel canister with one open end where oil flows in to get cleaned. Inside, it's packed with filter media, made of paper or a blend of synthetic and natural fibers, designed to catch harmful particles before they mess with your engine. And at the closed end, there's a bypass valve for backup when things get clogged. Then, there's the cartridge-style filter. This one's a little different. The housing is built into the car, and the filter itself is a cylindrical design. Its pleated media seals tightly between the cap and the base, doing the same job as its spin-on cousin. Here's the deal with both. They filter out microscopic particles that could scratch up metal parts or gum up your oil passages. Those nasty bits stay trapped in the filter media until you swap it out. But when the filter gets too full, that's when trouble starts. It can starve your engine of oil or force the pressure to rise as oil struggles to push through. When that happens, the bypass valve opens, letting some dirty oil flow through to keep the engine running. It's not great, but it beats a total shutdown. Just don't let it get to that point. Your engine deserves better. So, how often should you change the oil filter? Most manufacturers recommend replacing your oil filter with every oil change. Why? Because this keeps your engine running on fresh, clean oil without contaminants sneaking through a clogged filter. Now, some folks might say, you can stretch it to every other oil change. But honestly, that's not the best advice. Your oil filter works hard, and three factors can affect how long it lasts. Number one, driving conditions make a difference. If you're stuck in stop-and-go traffic or taking lots of short trips, your oil filter has to work overtime. These conditions don't let your engine fully warm up, which can clog the filter faster. For city drivers dealing with heavy traffic, this is especially common. But if you're cruising on long highway drives in mild weather, your oil filter might last longer since the engine runs more efficiently. Of course, if you're towing, hauling, or driving in extreme conditions, that's another story. You'll likely need to change it sooner. Number two, the oil you use matters too. If you're using synthetic oil, good call. Synthetic oil breaks down slower and stays cleaner longer than regular oil. That means your oil filter doesn't have to work as hard. With synthetic oil, you can often go 7,500 to 15,000 miles between changes, depending on what your car's manufacturer recommends. But if you're using conventional oil, it breaks down faster and leaves more gunk for your filter to catch. In that case, you'll probably need to change your filter every 5,000 to 7,500 miles, or sooner if you're tough on your car. And here's a tip. If you're using synthetic oil, consider upgrading to an extended life oil filter. These can handle the longer intervals, often lasting up to 10,000 miles. Number three, check your manual for the best advice. The simplest way to know when to change your oil filter? Follow the manufacturer's guidelines. They've already figured out what works best for your car. You can find this info in your owner's manual, on the manufacturer's website, or even on your vehicle's maintenance reminder system if it has one. For most drivers, changing the filter with every oil change, usually every 5,000 to 7,500 miles, is the safest bet. Even if you don't drive much, it's smart to replace it at least once a year. How do you know when it's time to change your oil filter? First, if your dashboard oil pressure warning light comes on, don't ignore it. This warning could mean your oil filter is clogged and restricting oil flow. Your engine relies on a steady oil supply. Without it, serious damage can occur. Next, check the color and texture of your oil. If it looks dark and gritty, that's a red flag. This indicates that your filter is overloaded and needs replacing. You want your oil to be clean and golden, not resembling a cup of coffee. Lastly, if your engine is running hot, a clogged oil filter can restrict oil flow, leading to overheating. Engine oil performs up to 40% of the engine's cooling, so the temperature will begin to climb as the oil flow decreases. If it gets into the red zone or triggers a warning light, it's time to act. If you find this information helpful, hit that subscribe button and share this video with your fellow car lovers. Done? All right, now, what are the risks of skipping oil filter changes? A clogged oil filter is like trying to breathe through a tiny straw. It chokes the oil flow and forces your engine to work harder than it should. That extra effort can cut your engine's efficiency by up to 20%, and it doesn't stop there. Over time, the strain wears down the engine's key components. If the oil pressure drops too low, you could be facing some serious damage and a repair bill that could hit $2,000 or more. Think adding fresh oil will help? Nope, a dirty filter will just contaminate it, turning clean oil into a grimy mess. So, keep your oil filter clean, and your engine will thank you for it, with fewer headaches and fewer big bills. Does the oil filter brand really matter? The answer? Maybe. If you're sticking to regular oil changes, you might think any filter will do. But here's the catch. Cheap filters can clog up faster than a drive-thru at lunch hour. When that happens, your oil flow takes a hit, especially as you get closer to the next oil change. To find the right filter, do a little digging. Use your car's year, make, model, and engine size to filter your search. Trust me, your engine deserves better than guessing. And a word of advice, steer clear of those plain white box filters with bargain bin paper media. They're like the fast fashion of filters, flimsy, ineffective, and not built to last. If you want better performance, look for filters with deep, tightly packed pleats. They do the job right and keep your engine happy. If you're not sure where to start, I've added links to reliable options like K&N Premium Oil Filters and Mobil 1 Extended Performance Oil Filters. These brands are known for their durability and efficiency. We've covered everything you need to know about changing your oil filter. And before you go, check out our next video on common oil change mistakes people make. Avoiding these slip-ups could save you time, money, and headaches.